Yoel Romero challenging champion Israel Adesanya. I got to give you my post-fight thoughts. In one word, disappointed. What up, fight world? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more fighting. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing and fighting. Now, I want to give my post-fight thoughts. Yoel Romero loses a unanimous decision to Israel Adesanya. Congrats to Adesanya. It was a fight that, in my opinion, I'm just giving you my thoughts, I was disappointed with. I expected so much more, and as the main event, following such a great fight with Joanna and Weili, this fight didn't rise to the occasion. Now, stylistically, I just expected more action. I'm not mad at the results. Some people are conflicted. When Adesanya was doing his post-fight with Joe Rogan, they booed him, and then the crowd kind of surprised me. They were like, after the fight seemed a little bit pro Yoel Romero. I think neither guy really fought to their optimum. We've seen like Adesanya look better versus Robert Whittaker, and we've seen Yoel Romero in more action fights like his fight with Paulo, different things like that. The bottom line is, Dana White's probably upset this main event did not live up to expectations, no matter how you slice it. So I'm going to try my best to give my thoughts on this. The bottom line is round one, I gave it to Yoel Romero. It was a real weird, it was like 90 seconds had passed or so, and not one punch, nobody was engaging. But I gave it to him because out of the little action, when Adesanya did actually encroach and get in a certain proximity, Yoel he landed and launched a huge overhand left punch that caught Adesanya. That was the best punch or the best strike or the best anything that landed in round one. And you could tell Adesanya was kind of affected by that, because after Yoel he landed that, I looked at Adesanya and he kept squinting and blinking like he wasn't expecting that. And that's the danger with Yoel Romero. And I think, this might sound crazy, but I think that one punch and the explosiveness of Yoel Romero kept Adesanya from taking bigger chances, so he had to work himself into a fight. Because the bottom line was Yoel Romero, he kind of fights how he always fights. Sometimes, unless he knocks somebody out or, knees him, Luke Rockhold or something like that, unless it's a performance like that, this is how his fights kind of go. It's fought at a weird pace. He's doing the histrionics and moving. In this fight, he was kind of using a Joe Frazier type of defense. He was randomly dropping one knee to the mat. He was, bending and pivoting the hips and twisting, really weird feints, just like drunken monkey, drunken master style. Very unorthodox, very awkward. He comes from Cuba, hails from Cuba, so they definitely have good fighting programs and boxing and stuff like that. And he's just a crafty guy. He's a veteran. He's been in there with the biggest names, and Adesanya respected that. Yoel Romero, he was like stop and go traffic. He never had a sustained attack or a game plan to me, but he looked like he was trying to catch Adesanya, and he wanted Adesanya to bite and do too much, and he was going to try to trap him and then explode on him. And that's what I've seen from Yoel in his career. But Adesanya, he did what he had to do, and he used his height and he used his longer legs and had some pretty good kicks. So round one, I gave to Yoel Romero. It wasn't a lot of sustained action, but the biggest shot of the whole round was landed by Yoel Romero. Round two was pretty close. It's debatable maybe. Adesanya had some good kicks. Yoel Romero, I think he had a couple good strikes and stuff like that. But that was kind of a boring round, maybe even a swing round for some people. And then the next two rounds I gave to Adesanya. He was reddening Yoel Romero's leg, and landed some really good kicks, and they started to have effect. And the one thing for Yoel Romero that he was doing at first, I can get it in the first two rounds, but as the fight progressed in the rounds 3 and 4, I thought he was posing too much. He was, in boxing we call it like taking a picture, admiring his own work. Like he's doing all this feints and stuff, and he's doing all this weird like histrionics and movement to get in position. And there's a couple times where he tried to lunge and, try for a takedown, stuff like that. But a lot of the times he was doing these feints and stuff, and he couldn't really close the proximity. And Adesanya was fighting, after being caught with that explosive left in the first round. Adesanya just fought real measured and didn't want to bite off more than he can chew. He's seen, because there was a couple scrambles in the octagon where Yoel Romero tried to lunge and like rush him, and then Adesanya was like backpedaling, falling backwards, and he tried to recover real quick because he knew what Romero was trying to do. So it just made for kind of a stinker fight, especially like I said, coming after the Joanna fight with Zhang Weili. It just wasn't, it didn't live up to expectations. The fifth round, again, kind of debatable, kind of a debatable round. It just wasn't an action fight. Like, I don't even really care to score the fight, to be honest, It just wasn't. And then Yoel Romero, the most intention and like aggression that we've seen was at the very end, the closing 10 seconds. They kind of got in each other's face, and Yoel Romero is pounding on his chest. But I think Yoel Romero does what he sometimes does in fights like this, is he's doing a little bit too much waiting and a little bit too much setting traps, and people know this. People know, like, I forgot what fight it was, but Yoel Romero was fighting somebody. He just exploded with the flying knee out of nowhere and knocked his opponent out. You see stuff like that. So the advanced fighters that are fighting him, they're aware of this, and nobody's trying to fall for that. So in those situations, you have kind of like a lull in the action, or you have, people timid because they know he's trying to set them up. So it just wasn't that eventful of a fight. That's really all I have to say about it. UFC 248. It was a solid card, but, I was disappointed with the main event. That's just what it is. Yoel Romero always finds himself in situations like title shots where he loses, and he loses close because he did some good work, but, did he really put the pedal to the metal and, make the full statement? I'm talking about the fights where he doesn't knock somebody out. In fights like this where it goes to the decision, it's like, did he really put the pedal to the metal? And you can even say the same thing with Adesanya. He's supposed to be next up, and the airbender stuff, we just didn't see much of that. We've seen a lot of acrobatics from Yoel and a lot of like weird, movement and theatrics, but it just wasn't much sustained, scintillating action. And I think even the commentators, DC and Joe Rogan and everybody, they were just waiting for it to really explode, because it looked like it was combustible. Like at any minute this would explode, someone would get caught, and then, a firefight would break out, and, it just didn't. So, as a fan, I'm disappointed. I expected more, but I understand why Adesanya fought like that. Because Yoel Romero, he's tricky, and he's not fighting necessarily the full 5-minute rounds, and he's looking to catch you slipping and catch you lacking. So, Adesanya, he slowed down that pace, didn't fall, didn't take the bait, and just played it safe, used his reach, and, kept his distance, recovered quick, and didn't let him rush. And it just, ultimately it didn't live up to the co-feature or whatever, and what I expected the fight to be. Yoel Romero, like I said, in the decision fights like this, like Costa and this, it always ends up like somewhat controversial, because he did some good things but didn't put his foot on the gas. So he's gonna have to work on, closing the show in those moments. And he's a little bit older, so I don't know how many title shots he'll get, but I'm looking forward to Costa and Adesanya. Styles make fights, and I think that's a total different style and a whole different fight. So overall, UFC 248 was a very fun card. The main event could have been better. Again, if I'm being realistic, the realistic part of me, I understand why Adesanya fought like that, because Yoel's dangerous and he's explosive, and he was really trying to catch him lacking. He was trying to, let Adesanya get off a little bit, lull him to sleep, have him fall asleep at the wheel, and then explode. And then if he's able to get a reaction or land a huge shot or a huge kick or knee or whatever, then pile it on and then overwhelm Adesanya and knock him out. That's what he was trying to do. And Adesanya was a bit too smart. And he kind of alluded to that. He's just trying to lull him to sleep, get him so confident. He was, it's crazy how calm Yoel is, but it's a testament to how long he's been fighting. He was like smiling in there, and he took some hard kicks. Some of them you could hear the kicks, you could see the reddening on his leg and stuff, and he took hard kicks. He was in crazy shape. Yoel Romero looked really big too in this particular fight. Like, he looked pretty massive. So forgettable fight, expected more from the big names, but overall very good card. I liked some of the fights on the undercard a bit better, and that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. We work. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.